met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
With more than 1,000 palm trees and a Caribbean color scheme, the facility projects the South Beach flavor that distinguishes Homestead-Miami from other major racetracks in America. It took a while longer to get the right combination for the racing surface. In its first iteration, the track had 4 separate low-banked corners, reminiscent of a mini Indianapolis. That configuration failed to promote good racing and unfortunately provided bad crash angles. Widening the aprons failed to correct either one of these problems. Major reconfiguration of the track during the summer of '97 brought a more conventional layout, sweeping 180-degree corners at either end of the racing facility. Close, but still no cigar. Most of the recent work on the track, during which the track has assumed variable banking up to 20 degrees in the corners, flattening to 3 degrees on the straightaways, has done the trick. Everyone agrees, Homestead-Miami, the beauty is now more than skin deep. It's the Garza Law Firm Homestead 100, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Homestead-Miami Speedway for tonight's Garza Law Firm Homestead 100, the Howell Graphics Truck Series. Already 10 races into this season. It's just ticking right on by. Let's take a look at our race details for tonight. 78 degrees, the air temperature here at the Speedway. 56% humidity, partly cloudy skies, almost no breeze. Very uncharacteristic of South Beach. Track temp down to 80 degrees now that the sun has set. Nice and cool for these drivers. Just getting ready for the qualifying session to start here in just about a minute. But with that, let's take a look where everyone is stacked up here in the practice session. Drew Blaze fastest on the board at 32.97 his time. The 5 of Watkins right there on his heels. 32.87 the lap time for the 5. Then Mitchell Howell, third quick, 32.94. Then Derek Welch didn't think he was going to make it here tonight, but it looks like he is indeed here. 32.95. And then fifth quick, it is James Ray. Very Toyota-centric top 5 here in practice. 4 out of 5. Mitchell Howell being the only interloper in the Chevrolet. Clock strikes 0 on the session. We'll jump right into qualifying here in a minute. Shouldn't be long. 5-minute session to get it done. 2 laps, whichever comes first. Let's see who rolls first here down pit lane to start their qualifying attempt. Again, a 5-minute session. Looks like Brent Morrow first to the pit lane. Let's see if he starts to roll. Brett Guzik. He's second in the pits, but first one to pull out of the pits. Watch the 04. Expect a decent lap time out of Brett Guzik here tonight. Stream chat's awful quiet. I know it's early. We're just in qualifying, but if you're new to any HBR TV broadcast, Stream chat is open. You're more than welcome. Just keep it PG. Try to interact with you guys as often as possible. So Derek Welch jumping in the chat says, I wasn't going to race tonight, but oh well, I'll race until I quit. Fair enough. Got Mitchell Howell in the stream chat. Again, he was third quick in practice, says he's got a good feeling about tonight. Brett Guzik goes top of the board. And for whatever reason, every time we transition from practice to qualifying, the timing tower wants to get all screwy on me. So hopefully we can get that fixed real quick here. .33.859 was the first lap for Guzik. Lap 2 for the 04. Goes P1, 32.987. Knocks Drew Blaze off the point. Blaze is now out of turn 4. Let's see if he can improve his time. He does. Takes the pole back, 32.789 for Drew Blaze. Chris Watkins put down a 19 on his first lap. And of course now the timing tower wants to reset. There we go, 33.020 for Watkins. Fourth quick as Timmy Stubblefield goes third fast, 33.019. Mitchell Howell, top 5 time in practice, says he's got a good feeling about tonight, but he slides up the racetrack here. Says coming to green, it might be by design. We'll see what kind of time Howell can drop down. Chris Goins in the chat says the yellow machine bringing up the rear tonight. That's going to be the number 41 Popple machine, if I remember correctly. 3 minutes, 20 seconds elapsed here in the 5-minute session. Way up the racetrack is Howell again, out of the throttle a long time. He's going to have to make it up on lap 2, I think. He's pushing too hard for this first lap. 33.416, 14th fast. turn 4. A little bit better looking lap. We'll see if Howell can improve. He's 15th for now. Does he move up? He does. Second quick, 32.920. Mitchell Howell, a big second lap. Chris Gones says he's starting from the rear. Well, we'll see. First lap might indicate that. It's not the worst. Lap 2 should be better here because he crosses the stripe. Chris Gones out of Charlotte, North Carolina, goes 17th quick, 33.322. PJ Cox. He goes 17th quick with a 3.16. And just like that, looks like the session is in the books. That looks like that's going to do it. So qualifying complete. Drew Blaze the fastest. Never mind telling you that. Let's just take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position, of course, with a lap time of 32.789 seconds. It's the one of Drew Blaze. Outside front row with Warhawk Motorsports, it's the number 93, Mitchell Howell. Row number 2, it's Derek Welch, who just recently decided he was going to run here tonight, was going to take tonight off. He starts in the 3rd position with Brett Guzik to his outside. Starting 5th, Timmy Stubblefield, the number 92. Starting 6th is Chris Watkins. Brent Morrow, the number 71 ASR Racing Machine. He'll start from the 7th position. Ken Couch starts P8. Starting in the 9th spot, Sean Roberts, the number 66. Randy Coaching in the 10th spot. Brian Shepard, the number 88. He'll start from P11. Brandon Domain in the 13 starts 12th. Starting 13th, it's Chris Klein. 14th, Kevin Grettenberger. 15th, James Ray. Heath Snyder in the 29. He'll start 16th. PJ Cox, 17th. Chris Gones, it's not totally at the rear, but close. He starts position 18. Scott Beardmore, number 28, starting 19th. In the 20th spot, it's Kevin Winker, looking for Winker Nation out here to Stream Chat tonight. 21st, Ken Blackburn, and 22nd, the number 43 of Jonathan Arnn. It's your starting grid for the Garza Law Firm Homestead 100. Field still sits on pit lane here. They should begin to roll momentarily. It's been, well, traditionally an extended grid period for this series, so we'll wait just a little bit longer. They'll roll out for their first pace lap. I think it's only one pace lap here at Homestead. Field pulls out of pit lane here, so does the pace car. Some go up the racetrack, some stay low. The ones going low are already thinking save fuel. Yes, as soon as they pull out of the pits, a lot of these guys, they won't even fire the truck until the pace car starts to roll. It's that important. 60% fuel load here tonight. These guys are going to be wide open throttle for a large portion of the evening. So that's 60% fuel, not going to last too long. Going to have to take care of that. Also pay close attention to tire life. Got only 100 laps around this place, but that's still, you still got to manage your tire wear. You got 2 sets available over the wall. Of course, they start with a set on the truck, so 3 effectively to work with. 33 to 3rd laps on each set. Or if you push it a little bit further, maybe save an extra set for later on in the race if you're brave enough to do just that. We'll see if anybody opts for that. Pace car pulls down pit lane.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air, down into turn number 1. Shepard way up the racetrack, scrapes the wall just a bit, continues on. 2 laps in, Drew Blaze, your race leader over Mitchell Howell, Brett Guzik, Derek Welch, Brent Morrow. That's the top 5. Oh, we got one loose in the middle of the pack. Not sure who it was, but he saved it. He's still saving it. Wow, I don't know how he did it, but he did it. That was Dan Storm, the number 81, was saving that truck all the way through 3 and 4. Right back to the main straightaway. Did a good job saving it. Dan Storm, however, I don't know if he missed the start, but he's 2 laps down already. We're only 3 laps in, so he must have not made the initial start. Didn't qualify. He got in here real late in the last minute. That's okay, he's here. Meanwhile, Mitchell Howell has gone to the point, takes the top spot from Drew Blaze. It's a lot to look through to find that pass. I'll see if I can catch it. Here's the pass for the race lead just a moment ago. Howell goes to the bottom, Blaze way up the racetrack. Uncontested. And again, we've talked about that a lot with Drew Blaze. Certainly the type that's not going to push the issue too early on in the race. He's going to take care of his stuff, be there at the end. Meanwhile, Guzik takes the second spot. Now Drew Blaze back to third. One car out of line. I think it might have been Ken Couch. Indeed it was. Just saving the truck or trying to make a move to the inside. It looked almost defensive on his part. Drops it down the low side. Underneath the 92 with Timmy Stubblefield. Timmy's lost a couple of spots since the start. Position, number 13 Ghost Toyota. Certainly easy to pick out that truck on the racetrack. Very brightly colored Ghost Energy machine. Chris Goins working his way here to the outside, or inside for that matter, of it was Shepard. Indeed it was Brian Shepard, the number 88 truck. Chris Goins working on him right now for position. Goins up 6 positions already. The 8 laps in. Howell still out in front. Pretty wide margin back to Brett Guzik. It's almost a full second, 8/10 to be specific. Challengers coming in from behind here with Brett Guzik in the second spot. Brent Morrow up in the third position, taking a look to the inside. Morrow with a run, thought about looking to the inside, but looks like we got another truck, the 00, dropping down to the bottom to make his move towards the front. That's James Ray in the Toyota. Got Brett Winker in the stream chat saying, let's go Winker. Hashtag Winker Nation. Finally got one of you guys out here. Howell still out in front, battle for the second spot. Morrow taking a peek to the inside of Brett Guzik. Off turn number 2, down the backstretch. They're going to drag race down into turn number 3. Guzik with the advantage still. Morrow drops back to the bottom here. Guzik's still going to take the highway around here. It's the longer distance, but you can carry more speed out of the corner. Build that momentum. It's a great way to defend your position. Morrow stays to the bottom. He's looking maybe to change his mind. Runs the same line as Guzik here into turns 1 and 2 with the double zero of James Ray. He has other plans as well. He's way to the bottom of the racetrack. Lap truck, I think, of Sean Roberts into the fray here. Sean had a problem on the racetrack. Put him in that position to be a lap down this early. Get only 13 laps in here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Guzik way up the track again, simultaneously defending that second spot. He still was closing the gap on Howell, but Mitchell hammers down here and he extends it back to 8.5 tenths. Guzik is under fire again from James Ray. Tower operator in the chat, also Winker Nation. All right. Howell in the fence. Howell scraping the right side, and his saber barrier's way off the pace. It's going to give the race lead to the double zero of James Ray. Guzik follows suit. He gets into that second spot as Howell makes a mistake, puts it in the fence just a bit. He's going to lose a few spots, goes from the lead back to fourth, and it may be more before it's over. Howell still in the fourth spot. Drew Blaze on the bottom. The 71 of Morrow in the middle there, trying to take those positions away. Real loose off the corner is the 71. He gathers it up, keeps his foot in the throttle. Howell powers back on the outside. Howell's got some pace. He's back to challenging Brett Guzik. I gotta tell you, Howell's truck doesn't look all that bad. He definitely got in the fence. We saw the sparks flying, but the right side of that truck looks pretty good. Obviously, we're on driver's left right now, but wasn't displaying a whole lot of scrapes and skins and that sort of thing on the right side of that truck. Howell might be fine. Maybe a little tape job to fix some stuff up later on in the pit stop, but maybe not. Seems to have plenty of pace. Still right on the tailgate of Brett Guzik off turn 4. Watching more battles for position here. Mid-pack, not even mid-pack. This is still the backside of the top 10. Ken Couch, Brandon Domain, Tim Stubblefield. Chris Watkins is in this mix too. He's a lap down as well. Kevin Winker, number 42. Running in the 12th spot. Started 20th. Having a good run here, working his way back towards the front. Yeah, Winker saving fuel too as we got trucks in the fence again here, just scraping it. Was that Mitchell Howell another time? I think it was. Howell gets the right side of the safer barrier a second time. Now he's back to the fourth spot. Morrow might have been involved in that as well. They were battling for position. He's 3-4 truck lengths off the back bumper of Howell as they work on a turn 4. Howell looking okay for now. Coming to 21 laps. James Ray is still the race leader here over Brett Guzik and Drew Blaze. Howell still running fourth. Brandon Domain up to the 5th position. Battle hot and heavy in behind him. It's Domain, Morrow, and Derek Welch. Welch started 3rd place here today. Great qualifying effort. He slipped back to the 7th position currently, just ahead of Chris Goins. Goins is taking a look, but the yellow is out. Jonathan Arnn in trouble. Number 43 STP oil treatment machine spins it on the front stretch here, and he goes right to pit lane here, not even going to opt to drive it around. Let's see what happened here with Jonathan Arnn. Oh, a little bit of contact with the 19. Get a better look at it from the alternate angle. Oh, looks like the 19 actually did pull down about a foot. It's all it takes, slight contact, but he gets into Jonathan Arnn, as Arnn was also coming up the racetrack. They kind of met in the middle. So, under caution for the first time here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. I can only assume we're going to see everybody up and down pit lane here, at minimum for fuel. Seems like all the lead lap trucks are going to come down pit lane here and get service. Question remains, what service will it be? Tires, fuel, fuel only? I'm going to say probably fuel only for just about everybody. It's early. In a 100-lap race, you only got 2 sets. What? Yeah, maybe not. James Ray's going to bolt on right sides. I'm going to say Drew Blaze doesn't. Let's see. Blaze stays on the ground here. Fuel only for the 1. Mitchell Howell's going to bolt on tires. I don't know if I like this move. 4 tires and fuel for the 93. A lot of other drivers taking fuel only. Very few taking tires. This could pose a problem. Again, you've only got 1 set left, and you've got more than 3/4 of this race left. Oh boy, oh boy. Get a quick break out of the way, folks. We'll be right back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, wrapping up caution number 1. Race car lights are off, so we'll be back green flag racing the next time by. Top 2 is going to be Brett Guzik, Drew Blaze, both taking fuel only. In fact, fuel only all the way back to James Ray, the 7th position. James took 4. Then Mitchell Howell in the 9th spot, he took 4. And maybe 3 or 4 others took 4. Everybody else stayed on the set they started the race with, so they have a little bit more of a strategy play to work with later on in the race as far as an extra set of tires goes. Pace car makes the hard left down pit road. Wait for Barney the flagman to wave the green. They're in the zone and the flag waves. We're back racing from Homestead. Blaze slips back to the 3rd spot. Derek Welch 4th. Ryan Shepard up to 5th. I would expect to see James Ray continue to make his way through the field here, especially with the new tires he's just bolted on. Second spot shaping up between Drew Blaze and Brandon Domain. Drive down into turn number 3. Domain on the bottom, the number 13 machine. Drew Blaze up top in the 1. Derek Welch coming in behind. The 00 of James Ray shot out of a cannon, and Derek Welch is loose. Gets into the 00. We stay under the green flag for now. I don't know how. Chaos unfolding here on the front stretch, and somehow we stay under the green flag. Derek Welch got very loose out of turn number 4. Meanwhile, James Ray was on a mission, probably 5-10 mile an hour quicker than the 1 at the time. He's on fresh tires. Derek Welch was not. His strategy play was fuel only. Meanwhile, battling back out front still, the top 3 starting to get away. Brandon Domain has lost the 2nd position to Drew Blaze, and Drew knocking on the back door of Brett Guzik here. Open that tailgate, son. Let me through. Blaze making a look to the bottom. Guzik stays up the racetrack. Blaze is going to drive around on the bottom to see if he can make it stick and get clear of Brett Guzik. He's there, but Guzik's going to have a big run out of turn 4. Too close to call at the line, back into 1. Still side by side for the top spot. Drew Blaze keeps that Toyota Tundra on the bottom. He's going to take the spot and get clear now of Brett Guzik. Guzik may still have a run down the backstretch, but remember, these guys are both on older tires, ones they started the race on. As Domain now falls into the clutches of James Ray. Ray with 4 fresh tires. He's going to power to the front here. It's just the way it works. You got fresh tires, you got more grip. You're going to come all the way to the front here. He should take over the top spot here in a couple of laps. But again, it's going to cycle back through. The drawback to taking those tires early, yeah, you feel like Superman out there. But later on, as Drew Blaze gets into the fence, later on, guys like Drew Blaze or Brett Guzik, who are fast as it is, they're going to have a lot of speed because they're going to be able to bolt on fresh tires later on in the race. Whereas the 00 has only got 1 set left. Mitchell Howell there at the back of the pack. Running in 21st, about to lose a lap. Not entirely sure why Mitchell's back that far. I don't remember him being involved in a big problem. It's possible he was involved in that incident we saw just a moment ago with Derek Welch and James Ray. Jonathan Arndt in the stream chat asking if he was at fault during the first caution. Well, I'm just the broadcaster, but I'll give you my opinion. I think you were running your line on the corner exit, but the 19, at least from the replay that I watched, definitely came down a little bit. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to, you guys made contact. It's tough to really lay blame on it, though. I think it really kind of translates to a racing deal. But again, I'm just the broadcaster. That's for the admins to work out. Meanwhile, as we predicted, James Ray takes over the top spot, and by a wide margin. It didn't take long. He's got almost 2 seconds back to Drew Blaze and Brett Guzik. Back in the 10th spot, Chris Klein in behind, the 11th position. Further up through the top 10, a couple of big movers here. Scott Beardmore and Kevin Winker both. Beardmore, the number 28, he's up 11 spots. So is Kevin Winker in the 9th position. Winker's passed 11 trucks to get to the position that he's in right now. Winker also taking fuel only on his pit stop, so he still has 2 sets of tires available to his disposal. Chris Goins still hanging tough in that 10th position. I don't know if he's got anything for Winker. He was a little crossed up sideways a moment ago. I think he's okay. On board with Kevin Winker, battling for the 9th position. Winker's got it for now. Goins attacking, trying to take it away, continue his charge into the top 10. Goins is going to go to the bottom another time, this time a big run. Winker's going to have a run out of the corner. I don't know, if Goins keeps this up a lap or 2, I think he'll have the spot. Only seesaw back and forth so much. Goins coming into the frame there on the left. Comes up, slide job in front of Winker. Winker lifts a little bit, could have crossed him over. Patience, patience, patience. Kevin Winker showing a lot of that just now. Take care of the truck to the end of the run. That's all you can really do at this point. Plenty of laps left. Meanwhile, Randy Coaching has jumped up into the 2nd spot, the number 19. Ken Couch 3rd, Brent Morrow 4th. I wish I could show you the graphic, just at least what I see as far as the live timing is concerned. I've got a graphic up that tells me obviously the running order, not just the overlay that you guys see in the timing tower on the left. But it tells me a lot of different things. It tells me the driver, the type of truck that they're in, their car number, top speed, lap time, last lap, all that good stuff. Also tells me how long they were in the pits for, and then how long they were in the pit stall for. So as I look at the top 4 currently, all 4 of them drivers have 4 fresh tires. So as we kind of predicted, fresh tire is going to send you to the front. But again, it's temporary. Those guys that took fuel only are going to get the opportunity to take those positions back later on in the race when it counts. Drew Blaze, Brett Guzik, still the only 2 with fuel-only pit stops that still stay within the top 10. Well, really the top 7. They're 5th and 6th here. Scott Beardmore in 7th with 4 fresh tires. He's likely to close in on those 2 pretty soon as well. But then again, the longer this run goes on, those tires could begin to equalize as far as their lap times are concerned. Ken Couch running in 3rd. James Ray still out to a 3.5 second lead over the 19. Brent Morrow running 4th. Drew Blaze still hanging into that 5th position for the time being. Brett Guzik a few truck lengths off the back bumper. Again, at this point, it's survival time for these guys. They're able to maintain a reasonable lap time on the older set of tires. Now, you look at Drew Blaze, Brett Guzik, just for comparison purposes. Last lap for Drew Blaze was a 34.75. Guzik was a 34.72. Now, the fast guy on the racetrack was James Ray, but he only ran a 34.28. Remember, he has fresh tires. So we'll see how that goes. Kevin Winker is going to hit the pit lane here under the green flag. Again, 60% fuel load. We've already knocked out another 20-some laps. Winker's in the pits. He's going to take tires as well. This may be his first set of the night. Now, I would say this is probably not a bad move for Kevin Winker because with just over 55 laps left, he's still got one more set over the wall he can work with later on. Not a bad plan. Track Bar Media in the stream chat says great broadcast as always. Thank you very much. Track Bar Media, your go-to source for iRacing videos, voiceovers, commercials, designs, you name it. Just check those guys out. If you need a link, let us know in the Discord. Get you hooked up. Watkins in the pits here, right side's going on. 4 tires and fuel for Chris Watkins. He drops the jack. A decent stop, 14.4 seconds for the 5. So James Ray continues to lead, 3.6 seconds the advantage over Ken Couch, Randy Coaching, Brent Morrow, Drew Blaze. 47 laps in here, last pit stop. At least the race leaders was lap 23 under the yellow flag at the time. Some green flag stops occurring. Heath Snyder is going to pull down and hit pit lane as well. Snyder's going to go 4 tires and fuel as well. Drops the jack. He's down and away. 14.92. Pit time for the 29 truck. Ray continues to lead. 3.7 seconds the advantage. I think we're going to find out just how far James Ray can go on a tank of fuel here. Remember, he did take tires at lap 23, 4 tires to be specific. Of the 2 sets, he's burned 1. If I'm him, I'm going to drag this run out as long as I possibly can before I come down and, well, possibly take my final set of tires. Or does he just chance it? Does he skip this set? Does he sacrifice it to have that set of tires for that last pit stop? Could kind of go either way at this point. We'll watch James here as he continues to work his way around the track. Just past halfway here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Drew Blaze hits pit lane. James Ray stays out once again. So let's watch Drew as he slides into the box. He's going to take his last set. Correction, that's his first set. Remember, he went fuel only on the first stop. So Drew Blaze actually in a pretty good situation right now. Just past halfway, first tire change of the night for Drew Blaze, and he came down pit lane from about the 5th position. So it's working out for him. I think he's planned to work the strategy here to his advantage. So far, so good for Drew Blaze. Ryan Shepard in the 88 from the top 10. He's in the pits. James Ray still out on the racetrack. Sean, I'm sorry I missed you in the stream chat earlier. She says, go Winker, Winker Nation. Kevin Winker right now the 11th position, 1 lap down. Again, we are in the middle of a pit cycle, so that's going to change quite a bit when it all wraps up. So 30 laps under the green flag, well, roughly. Pit stop was at 23. We didn't go green, I think, until 25. Kevin Grettenberger in the pits. Randy coaching. Scott Beardmore also coming down pit lane. Grettenberger taking his tires. Coaching stops a little short in the box, but enough to get the pit work done. Looks like fuel only for the 19 here. Splash and go. He's down and away. He's going to try and save a set for that final pit stop. And James Ray down pit lane from the race lead. Ken Couch is going to inherit the top spot. Brent Morrow second. They also need to make their pit stops. I'd expect them in the next lap or two. So there it is. James Ray going to take fuel only as he burned that first set early on. He's going to try and stretch it out through the mid portion of the race. Take tires on that last or second to last stop. Probably going to go just one more stop and we can be good to go. Ken Couch, Brent Morrow, as we expected, come down pit lane to get their pit work completed. Couch and Morrow both fuel only. Mitchell Howell also leaving pit lane. Had a strong run going early. Still not exactly sure what happened to the 93. Finds himself back in the 21st spot. As of the moment, still on the lead lap, but for how long? I'm going to say not very long, as James Ray is already right there, just a few truck lengths off the back bumper. James Ray with the race lead over the 5 of Chris Watkins. The deficit's 2.5 seconds. Brant Morrow running in the 3rd spot. Kevin Winker now 4th. Drew Blaze runs in the 5th position. Battle just behind Drew Blaze with Ken Couch and Chris Gomes. This would be for the 6th spot. Gomes trying to go the long way around on the high side here. Looks like he might have got it done. He did. Makes the pass on the outside, gets clear, move Chris Gomes up into the 6th position. Brett Guzik off of turn number 4. He's going to pick up a spot too, I think. He's going to take another one from Ken Couch. $60 laps in, 41 remain here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. We're going to take our first HBR TV side-by-side break. So stay with us. You won't miss a moment of the action, but we'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, Chris Watkins now your race leader over Drew Blaze, Brett Guzik, Chris Goins. James Ray has slipped back to P5. Mind you, he did not take tires on his last pit stop at lap 54. And as it happened at the end of the first pit cycle, fresh tires have gone to the front. James Ray doing a decent job hanging tough there. Now slips back to P6 as Brandon Domain takes over the 5th position. So I don't know, James Ray here, he's definitely on an alternate strategy as far as the tire usage is concerned. I didn't like the fact that he took tires on that first pit stop at lap 23. I don't think you got all the good out of them that you're going to get, especially as they tend to fall off. They get to a certain tipping point where you don't lose any more lap time. They just continue to wear, but you don't go any slower. Drew Blaze took advantage of that particular strategy, not taking tires on the first round of pit stops. And by the end of the cycle, both James Ray and, the older tires of Drew Blaze running very similar lap times at that moment in time. Ray doing a good job, though, hanging in the top 10. I'd be willing to bet his next pit stop likely to be his last, as we're all within the fuel window at this point. So that last set of tires that James did not take, the last pit stop, well, he's going to take them this time. That'll allow him to abuse them as much as possible, as much lap time as you can to the closing stages of the race. But with all that said, guys like Chris Watkins, Drew Blaze, Brett Guzik, their alternate strategies kind of worked backwards, or semi-backwards, as they did not take tires on that first stop. They did on the next two, but again, they didn't change those tires until they had passed the halfway point. So they also have a set of tires left. So it's kind of be heads-up racing here on that final round of pit stops once that's all completed. Now, that's if we stay green. Obviously, a caution flag could change a lot of these things, as lot as the strategy is concerned. If it comes out, well, right now, I still think you're going to see everybody come down pit lane, take the fuel, take the tires, because they're all within that window to make it to the end at this point, even with the 60% fuel load that they were starting the race on. That's the maximum that they can fill these trucks up with. Pretty sure James was able to go about 33 laps on his load of fuel before he had to pit. So again, we're in good shape at this point. Obviously, if we get a late caution, green, white, checkered type situation, that may change things. Some guys may need to make a quick splash and go, but well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. James Ray is going to come down pit lane. Good a time as any, undercut the rest of the field, be the first one to pit last. That's kind of a road course racing strategy. We'll see if it pays. He can stand to gain some ground here. Now that everybody's within their pit window, James is in the pits now. He could drag the leaders down the next time by. Because again, Ray's going to be able to build up and save, not save, but gain back some track position just by having the fresher tires, at least for a short amount of time. But again, now Drew Blaze, he's calling the bluff. Drew comes down pit lane too. He's going to take his final set of tires. Kevin Winker also down pit lane. Dan Storm. James Ray leaving the pits. Kind of a slow stop for James, 15.4 seconds. Chris Goins also going to come down pit lane, take his final set of tires. 27 laps to go. He's well within his fuel window. And the later these guys wait to pit, yes, they lose a little bit of track position, but it does help them in the aspect of possibly having extra fuel for a green, white, checkered finish if it comes to that. 4 tires of fuel drops the jack. Chris Goins is down 14.98 seconds to pit stop. Little Harry trying to get out of the box, but he's okay. Brett Guzik's going to pit also now from the race lead. 26, 25 and a half laps to go. Now it's 25 to go. Guzik in the pits. Chris Klein, Brian Shepard, Kevin Grettenberger, Derek Welch. Heath Snyder takes over the top spot. He still needs to make a pit stop, as though at the lap 46 for Snyder. PJ Cox was second. He was lap 47. Chris Watkins runs fourth, the only driver that I'm aware of at this point. It's good to go to the end. So he'll inherit the top spot as Snyder, PJ Cox both in pit lane. Ken Couch still needs to pit. Watkins, again, second place machine effectively once he gets back around and passes these two trucks in pit lane. But 15 plus seconds, the disadvantage for the 5 as he's trying to get caught up here with Ken Couch. It's just a matter of time for Ken to hit pit lane. Watkins will be the new leader, and he's got 5 plus seconds on Drew Blaze, which will become the second place machine here in just a moment or two. Looks like lap 71. Chris Watkins took 4 tires in fuel. Drew Blaze was 72. Same order for the 1. Brett Guzik waited a little longer. Lap 75, also 4 tires in fuel. Mitchell Howell, though, back in the top 10, at least for the time being. He made his last pit stop but did not take tires. However, his last stop was at lap 54, so he still needs to make one more trip down pit lane if he's going to make it to the finish. Ken Couch pulls off the racetrack, going to make his final stop from the race lead. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for Ken Couch. I don't know where he's going to land when he gets back into this. Only a couple of trucks not on the lead lap presently. But with 21 laps to go, Ken's going to have some fresh tires underneath him compared to everybody else. He's one of the last to make his pit stop, so he should be able to work his way at least back through in maybe the top 15. If he's lucky, maybe the top 10 here with 20 laps to go. He's got work to do, but he's got the tires to do it. Chris Watkins still out in front over Drew Blaze. 4.5 seconds the advantage back to the 1. Brett Guzik third. Chris Goins from way back in the pack, 18th up to P4. James Ray running in the 5th spot. His strategy's still working. I said they'll all be on equal footing after the pit cycle, and that's kind of the case right now. You got to make 3 pit stops, and one of them is without tires. It's just a matter of which one. I'm the mindset, do it early. James Ray's making it work. Really feeling for Mitchell Howell here. Had a strong run going early, back in 21st, 1 lap down. Chris Watkins still out in front. I don't know if Drew Blaze is going to be able to reel him in here the next 18 laps. Still 4.5 seconds the advantage over the 1. Last lap for Watkins was a 33.58. Drew Blaze was faster, but we're talking by 1/100th of a second. It wasn't that much better. You're not going to reel a guy in being that much faster. Not with 17 laps to go. Now the last time by, different story. This time Watkins was faster, a 33.73 over Drew Blaze, a 33.90. Brett Guzik, fastest on the track though, a 33.46 out of the 04. Guzik's still about 2/10 behind Drew Blaze. You'd have to reel him in past Blaze and then set sail for the race lead. I don't think either one of them have enough time. Of course, a caution would change everything. Guzik making a move to the outside on Drew Blaze. Way up the track. I don't know if Guzik had to lift there, but it looks like he still has a run out of 2. Chris Watkins certainly happy to watch this battle shape up in his rearview mirror, because the more these guys fight, the easier it's going to be for Watkins to maintain the gap or increase it, which he is doing at this point. It's 4 3/4 seconds as Guzik takes the second spot from Drew Blaze. 15 laps to go. I don't know, Brett's going to have to lay down some killer laps. He still wasn't faster that time. He was about half a tenth off the race leader's pace. Compare the lap times here. Again, Watkins, your race leader. Last 5 laps, Guzik was quicker for the majority. Lap 86, a little slower. Quicker yet again, makes it back. But again, if you're going to teeter-totter back and forth, you could be, well, you see it right there. Lap 86 was about 48 thousandths faster. But then Guzik went 50 thousandths faster the next time. So net gain there, well, let's do it, 200ths of a second. Still not going to be enough. Now the gap 5 full seconds back to Guzik with 12 to go. Guzik lost almost 4 tenths there. But Guzik's all by himself here, and he's stretched it out 4 or 5 truck lengths off Drew Blaze, so no real battle there within the top 3. Chris Goins, great drive so far tonight, up into the 4th position. Now you saw Chris make the comment in the stream chat early on, oh, it'll be coming from the back. And he did. He started 18th. Not a great qualifying effort, but race strategy. Lap time has been decent tonight. He's worked his way from the back all the way to into the top 5 here. Brandon Domain rounding out that top 5. Brandon Domain comfortably in the 5th position. James Ray, P6, probably the closest contender between Domain. James is still back about a full second plus from the 13. Got to hand it to James Ray, though. He made the strategy work. Again, it was a little different than I would have worked it, but it hasn't hurt him too bad. All in all, he started 15th here today, so he's having a good run in 6th. Ryan Shepard back in the 8th position. Heath Snyder there in 9th. That could be a battle for position before this one's up. Chris Klein, about 10 truck lengths back in the 10th position. I will say, though, we watched this deficit shrink and shrink here in the last couple of laps. Brett Guzik has really picked up the pace. He ran a 34.23. Chris Watkins a 34.69. That is a significant difference. 8 laps to go, 3 3/4 seconds the advantage for the 5. At this pace, a little quick mental math here. I still don't think there's enough time. Guzik needs to get a whole lot faster. Watkins needs to slow down, or a combination of the two for that to work out. Drew Blaze still in the 3rd spot. Now I'm starting to wonder if Guzik just burned up his stuff trying to reel him in. Also reeling in a lap truck here. I think it's the 28. Scott Beardmore. Yes, it is. Beardmore drops down to the bottom, lets the leaders go on through unabated. You're right on board with Brett Guzik. He's 3.5 seconds back, but you see how far that really is. 170 miles an hour, 3.5 seconds is quite a distance. Almost the length of the full straightaway here. So 5 laps to go, less than 5 laps to go. Watkins still leads, Guzik second. Might have a battle for that second position though. Blaze has managed to close the gap just a bit here in the closing laps. Klein back in P10. No challengers there. Brian Shepard may have a challenger, though. It's Heath Snyder, the number 29 truck, went up the racetrack. That would be for the 8th position if Heath can get to Brian and make that pass. Kevin Winker up in the 7th spot. Strong run for Winker. He started 20th here today. Well inside the top 10. Still the battle for the second spot here with 2 laps to go. Brett Guzik has it for the time being. Drew Blaze there in third. He's 3.5 tenths off the back bumper, trying to make something happen. Last lap for Guzik was a 59. Drew Blaze was a 60. Chris Watkins a 75, so he's still slowing, but again, not enough time left. Even if he sheds half a second a lap from here to the end, he'll be fine. White flag in the air, final lap for Chris Watkins. Strong performance for the 5 here today, worked some strategy. We said it, first truck to pit last. Or the last truck to pit last, or the first truck? I forget how it goes. I said it early on, but it's the road course strategy. That final pit stop, he was the first one to come down. He used the tires to gain the track position to get him to that race lead while everybody else made their pit stops. They're faster now, but it doesn't matter. On to turn number 4, the checkered flag waves, and the Garza Law Firm Homestead 100 belongs to Chris Watkins. Second place, Brett Guzik. Drew Blaze comes home in P3. Chris Goins and Brandon Domain round out your top 5. Chris Watkins out of Bells, Texas, takes the checkered flag here tonight from South Beach. Does he light them up? Or are we just posing for photos? Come on, Watkins, light it up. No burnout for Chris Watkins. All right, well, that makes it simple. We're going to step out, get a break out of the way. We'll have our top 3 finishers in the broadcast booth for interviews after this. Stay with us.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, the Garza Law Firm, Homestead 100 in the books. Chris Watkins with the race win. Let's see if we can get the driver of the number 5 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro up into the broadcast booth. Chris Watkins, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Chris, congratulations, man. A strong win. You were the first one to pit last, and that's kind of a road course strategy, but it paid off here on the oval. Was that the plan, or did this kind of work out for you in the end?
Well, I planned to short pit the first one because I knew we'd be short on fuel, and that first caution kind of screwed up my strategy. But I don't know. I just like, I got to get on a different cycle than everybody else and just try something. And when you see Drew and Brett in your rearview mirror, like it's hard to keep focused, But it was great, man. I don't know how that strategy worked, but it did.
It's like being in a Russian jet with 2 F-35s on your tail.
Oh yeah, and my two buddies, James Ray and Brant Morrow, like we've all been talking trash throughout the week, and to be able to beat them finally, it was all great. This is, I think, my first win with Lonestar, so this is great. Like, it's fun.
Always fun to be able to back up the trash talk. That's a bonus in itself. An awesome run here tonight. You didn't lead a ton of laps, but you let them there late when it counted. We talked about that. The cycle of the new tires going to the front. Each pit cycle, guys would go to the front, some would go to the back. You planned it just right. You were the first one to come down pit lane to take that final set of tires. Again, was that really the strategy? Were you trying to get down there and kind of undercut those guys ahead of you?
Yeah, that was the only way I think I could have got the track position ahead of them was to do that, and I just beat him by 1 or 2 laps, and I got lucky because I ran out going into turn 1 after the checker flag, so I was able to get just enough fuel to make it.
All right, so that explains the no burnout. Now I feel better about it.
Exactly. I wasn't trying to be mean or nothing. I coasted around to get the picture at the start finish line. That's how bad it was.
Well, either way, you got enough fuel to get to the stripe and the checkered flag. Congratulations on the race win here tonight. Chris, who do you want to shout out to before we let you get going?
And you for broadcasting, Lonestar for putting this league on. It's been a blast. Tri-City Speed, my two teammates in here, Brant and James Ray, they were awesome in this race. So, and just it was a blast. Thank you.
Chris Watkins, your race winner. Good luck next week out at Iowa.
Thanks, man.
Next, we're going to talk to runner-up Brett Guzik, able to make the pass late on Drew Blaze and take over the runner-up spot. Brett, Steve with HBR TV with us.
I've got you guys.
Brett, congratulations on a second-place finish. We really thought the race win was going to come down between you and Drew Blaze, but pit strategy being what it was, Chris Watkins got in and out before everybody else and stretched it out. You just couldn't reel him in. It was close, maybe a handful, 10 more laps, maybe you could have had it. Was there anything else that you had in the bag of tricks that you could have used against him to try and take this race win?
Nah, I felt like I was kind of fighting the balance a little bit all night. There wasn't like more than a 10-lap run where I felt like the car was like, staying good, whether I was running the top or the bottom. So like I would make some runs and then I'd kind of stall out, make some runs, kind of stall out. I just could never make, the pace to be able to catch Chris, and he held on there. I think he almost ran out of fuel going in the turn one, I think, after the start finish. So like he pitted as soon as he possibly could, and I just thought that if I had 3 or 4 more laps on him on tires, that I would just gradually get there. But he held on super good. He did good.
Well, it worked out in the end for him. You made the pass on Drew Blaze there somewhat late to take over the second spot, so that's a plus for the point standings for you. Next week we roll into Iowa Speedway. It's the big short track. I guess you call it an oversized Richmond. How do you think you're going to run out there?
I feel like I like that track pretty well. I think it doesn't necessarily have any characteristics of Homestead or anything like that, which I also kind of like a bit because of you can move around and everything, but it has the characteristics of being able to run the bottom or the top sometimes, and if you can get it to work, I think you're gonna see yourself up front, and it's gonna be a good race.
Certainly looking forward to it, Brett. Again, congratulations on a runner-up finish. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys for putting this on every week. HBR TV, I'd like to thank you, Steve, for putting this on every week, and really helping Lonestar out, and for next season as well. So thanks.
Already looking forward to the Cup season. Brett, again, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
All right, thanks.
Brett Guzik, your runner-up here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Let's pull the one of Drew Blaze into the broadcast booth. Get a word with our third-place finisher, Drew Blaze. It's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Drew, congratulations, man. Thought you might have had a race win. We watched this race early on and had to make predictions. It was going to come down to either you or Brett Guzik, but it just wasn't meant to be. Chris did the undercut, kind of a road course strategy on that final pit stop, got just enough fuel in it, took the race win. What was the strategy that you guys employed? Was it something you'd planned on ahead of time? Was it a matter of, all right, there's no two ways about it, I'm not taking tires on that first stop, no matter what? Was that the plan?
I was undecided pretty much the whole race. I really didn't have a strategy. Usually I try to formulate something ahead of time, but I didn't have any time to really practice or see what the fuel was going to be or anything. So we just kind of winged it, and I took a chance and didn't take those tires on the first caution there. And I think it panned out okay for us. I think we were right there at the end and right where we needed to be. Just didn't quite have enough with the undercut there that Chris did. But man, hats off to him and Brett and Chris and everybody who was running up front. It was clean racing, and yeah, couldn't ask for a better season.
Yeah, it's been a great season thus far. Can't believe we're already 10 races through it. But just going back to the pit stop side of things, of course, Watkins came down at 71 to pit and then ran out of fuel on the checkered flag to cool down. You came down a lap later. How tight was fuel for you?
It wasn't tight. I had let the auto fuel calculate it, and then I went just a click up from whatever it was recommending. So it wasn't real tight. I had a couple laps at the end there. If there was a green white checker, we might have been a little tighter, but yeah, we just made sure that we had enough fuel and we didn't have to, baby it at the end there.
Well, either way, good race to watch all around, whether it was strategy or on-track action. It was a fun one. Next week, we go short track racing out at Iowa Speedway, the Big Richmond. How do you feel about your shot next week?
I love Richmond personally. I'm very good at the short tracks, even though I don't like them. But yeah, I guess that's how it goes. I'm not too keen on running short tracks, but I tend to do really well at them. And yeah, I think we have a good shot, and we'll just get some notes and try to get some practice in this time and see what we can do.
Well, we're certainly excited for it, Drew. Again, nice job here with the top three. Who do you want to shout out to?
Yeah, I got to thank Lonestar Racing, Garza Law Firm, the Dent Zones, Mike Fahey, Justin Johnson, to everybody who's been here throughout the season, and it's been incredible. I got to give a shout out to all these guys, how they've been running. We only had one caution in this race, and that's awesome for a 100-lap race, and that's kind of how the race has been going. 1 to 2 cautions, and we had some things happen last week, but really got to just give a huge shout out to the guys who got in here. We got a good group of guys, and thank you for putting on the broadcast and everything you do. I appreciate it.
We're happy to be here, Drew. Thanks for the kind words, and we look forward to the next one for sure, man. Congratulations. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Drew Blaze, your third place finisher here, Homestead-Miami Speedway. That's going to wrap up the interviews of our top three. While we have the opportunity, let's take a look at our official race results. Of course, it's Chris Watkins, Brett Guzik, Drew Blaze, your top three. Chris Goins, a strong drive. I think he's going to get the hard charger if they do that. Indeed, he passed 14 cars on the racetrack to make it from 18th up to P4. A strong run for the 41. Brandon Domain, a good run as well. Top 5 finish for the 13. James Ray worked the strategy a little differently than everybody else, but still a solid finish. Comes home 6th. Kevin Winker was 7th. Brian Shepard finishes 8th. Heath Snyder was 9th. Chris Klein, P10. 11th went to PJ Cox. 12th was Kevin Grettenberger. 13th finisher Derek Welch. Ken Couch was 14th. Brant Morrow was 15th. Sean Roberts finishes in the 16th spot. 17th finisher Tim Stubblefield. Scott Beardmore was 18th. Mitchell Howell, well, he had a good feeling about tonight. He doesn't have a good feeling about it anymore. Unfortunately, contact with a safer barrier on multiple occasions hurt his race truck considerably. He finishes 19th, 1 lap down. Ken Blackburn was 20th. Dan Storm, 21st. Randy Coaching was 22nd. And the 43 of Jonathan Arn, involved in an early wreck. He was out of this one 80 laps before the finish. Finishes 23rd. Got to thank all you guys for jumping in the stream chat tonight. Kind of rookie numbers. You guys have been better in the past. Let's bump that up. Let's try to be a little more active next week in Iowa. I love seeing all you guys in the stream chat. I try to pay attention to that as much as possible. Maybe that makes me different as far as broadcasting is concerned, but I want to try and keep all of you guys involved. You're here watching. I don't just want you to be a fly on the wall. I want you to be an active participant, and we really do appreciate it every time that you guys are here. You keep it clean, you keep it entertaining, you keep it light, you keep it fun. With all that said, if you guys haven't already done so, check us out. We do all the streaming here on YouTube, so find us youtube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1. Give us a like, follow, share, or subscribe. The likes are probably the most important. Of course, we want you to subscribe and follow, but like each in every stream, every week. It opens up that particular video, that particular race to a wider audience on the YouTube platform. So help us out with that. It's a good thing, not just for me, but also for the league, in case there's some fellow iRacers that are like, oh, what's this league look like? And I'll be honest, it does work. I can almost promise you there's at least a couple of guys in this league that saw this broadcast because they were just kind of scrolling through YouTube, and they're like, oh, what's Lonestar Racing? What do they do? Oh, they run on this night? Oh, okay, I'm going to see if they need drivers. So it's a plus. It helps us all out across the board. So just as simple. It doesn't cost any money. Just click that like button. We do appreciate it. With that, it's going to wrap it up for us here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. Again, congratulating Chris Watkins, Brett Guzik, and Drew Blaze, our top three. We'll see you guys next week out at Iowa Speedway. Thanks for watching.